Hey all, this is Zephyr Specs, and today I'm going to be talking about my June sacrifice deck on MTG Arena. Um, this is mostly post-rotation, but there's a few cards that will have to be changed out when rotation hits. Notably, Mayhem Devil we're going to lose. But the core of the deck remains pretty solid. Um, For our 1-drops, we have Cauldron Familiar, Gilded Goose, and Witch's Oven, the food sacrifice combo cards. Witch's Oven in particular is super important. Cauldron Familiar, very useful. Gilded Goose, we can use to get a little bit of extra mana when it's on the battlefield and when we have food tokens on the battlefield. If we play it on turn 1 or turn 2, if we play it on turn 1, we can often play one of our 3-drops on turn 2. For example, Mayhem Devil, Dryad of the Elysiad Groove, or theoretically Murderous Rider, although Murderous Rider I would wait probably until later in the game. Our 2-drops, we have Trail of Crumbs, which creates a food token. It also gives an ability to look at the top 2 cards of your library, and you can put one into your hand and one on the bottom. Fiend Artisan is a new addition to this deck. It gets +1/+1 for each creature card in your graveyard. Strangely, a lot of the creature cards that we have don't stay in the graveyard. Like Cauldron Familiar doesn't stay in the graveyard. But it's useful for its ability to tap it, pay X plus 1 green or black, and sacrifice another creature to get a creature with cost X or less. Basically, you can tutor for any creature that you can pay for, as long as you sacrifice a creature and pay 1 additional green or black. That is useful to bring out big drops like Korvold and God Eternal Bantu. When the rotation hits, Bantu will be rotated out, so I'll be running 4 Korvold at that point. In the 4-drop, in between our 3-drops and our 5-drops, naturally, we have Traitorous Greed. This card lets us steal a creature from our opponents. Untap it, it gains haste, so we can attack with it. We get 2 mana of any color to use during that phase. And then, hopefully, we attack with that creature and then sacrifice it using, for example, Witch's Oven or Fiend Artisan. Above 5, we have 3 cards that cost more than that. One of them is the 6-drop Liliana Dreadhorde General. This card is going to be rotating out. I don't know what I'm going to replace it with yet. But it's most useful for its -4. Each player sacrifices 2 creatures. In combo with Mayhem Devil, it's quite powerful. And then the newest addition to this deck is Ugin the Spirit Dragon. I think Ugin is going to be widely played in lots of kinds of decks. His +2, deal 3 damage to any target, it's just really good. And then -X, exile each permanent with converted mana cost X or less that's 1 or more colors, is basically a board wipe. Considering it starts with 7, it's pretty much a hard board wipe. And then -10 if you ever got there. You gain 7 life, draw 7 cards, and then put up to 7 permanent cards from your hand onto the battlefield. I think its +2 and -X abilities are more powerful. And so that one's going to be rarely seen. As for lands, we have Swamp, Mountain, Forest. I have some dual lands, Blood Crypt, Overgrown Tomb, and Stomping Grounds. I run 2 Gingerbread Cabin. It's basically a tap forest, but if you have 3 or more forests, it enters untapped, and you get a food token for free. So this is really good later in the game. And similarly, I have 3 Fabled Passage. It's basically a tap land. There's no real drawback compared to the other tap lands. But if you have 4 or more lands, including Fabled Passage, then it's untap, and it's any color that you want, any one color. You can get any basic land. So that's my sacrifice deck, and here is some footage of me playing a game with this deck.